Well, now that we have surveyed the landscape and gotten a feel for the different apps that are available, let's talk about how you can use this in your homeschool. We're going to look at really three different things that you can do in a homeschool setting. Now, there are a lot more than that, but this will give you at least an idea of how you can use AI art in a teaching setting. We're going to think in terms of, first of all, media or mediums. We're going to think in terms of styles, and then we'll think in terms of reference. So let's start with media. Now this picture that's on the screen, this was done in Midjourney, and the prompt that I used for that was simply waterfall in summer, pine, fog, forest, landscape. So basically a waterfall, summertime, pine trees, a little bit of fog, got a forest and a landscape. So that's a very simple prompt. Again, in this little series, we're not doing anything complex, but it'll give us an idea of what we have to work with. Now remember, Midjourney is giving me an illustrator's type look. Let's go over to Invoke AI, which is Stable Diffusion. If you're using a free app, then you'll be using either Playground AI or Dream Studio. Those are your two best choices if you want to try some of this. So the exact same prompt, waterfall in summer, pine, fog, forest, landscape. And you'll notice that we actually have a photograph, is what kind of a photorealistic look that was created by the AI. And it's got a very nice waterfall here and pine trees and all the rest. Okay, so let's go over to, this is also Stable Diffusion. This is Automatic 1111. And it has generated, again, a very similar look, a little different waterfall, but still a photographic style. Now, one thing that I do need to explain is if you look right here, it says sampling steps. And we got the same thing over here with steps. You can crank that up, and basically the higher you make that number, the more it's going to refine the image. So I'm keeping it low simply because I'm doing this real time and I don't want us to have to wait forever for a picture to generate. So that said, let's see what happens when we change the media that this is done in. So we have basically a photograph. I'm going to add to this prompt watercolor. Let's see what happens. Now, one thing with AI is a lot of times you never know what you're going to get. So you do have to experiment. You have to play around with your prompts. You have to try different things to get ultimately the results you want. It's not an exact science at all. Okay, so we're getting a very different look, I can tell. Okay, so we have, and let me put this on the viewer here. Okay, we have a very simple watercolor look, and it's really kind of nice. The waterfall is kind of in the back there. It's not very distinct, but if you were to paint that picture in, or a similar picture, not that specific one that was on previously, but that's a little demonstration of how it might look in watercolor, how that prompt might look. Let's do the same thing over here and just see if we get different results, and we will. And again, I've got the sampling steps set down, but sometimes Automatic 1111 is a little bit slower. I'm not sure why, but while it is generating, let me add a couple comments that you might want to think about. When you are working with AI art, you get out what you put in. So always use caution with it. Don't just give your kids a blank check to play with it, because you can literally generate anything with AI art. So you want to be careful. You want to be cautious. In your use, be wise in how you use it in your family. But if it's in a teaching context where you're kind of controlling things, Again, it's very, very beneficial. So we've got a picture coming up here. Let's see what we get. It's beginning to resolve, and I notice in there we've got a nice, little bit more distinct waterfall in this one. Got a similar pattern with the two trees. Okay, so let's blow that up a little bit. So here we have a different take on the same prompt. And the reason this is kind of nice is these are very simple watercolor. I mean, this is something that if you wanted to have a lesson in watercolor, you could kind of create a picture to work from, and this would be a very nice demonstration picture. If I wanted to change that, let's say detailed watercolor, and let's see what we get. And it's going to take a few seconds. There it goes. It's getting started. You notice it gives you your estimated time. It's saying about 1.5 minutes now. And it varies. It just depends, again, on how many sampling steps and other things like that. But while that's generating, let me go back to wise use of AI. Midjourney, which is the one that is a little bit more expensive, is very protective in the sense that it bans certain words so that it keeps a pretty tight control on what an artist produces. So that's an option if you are concerned about filters and things like that for AI art. Okay, well, we're getting a different look here. And big waterfall here. I'm guessing these are going to be trees. We'll see what they do when they resolve here in a minute. And sometimes it's a lot of hurry up and wait. And we're almost there. 7 seconds. Okay. Little different style. A little bit more detail. But you can see how this gives you at least a feel for how you might create a certain kind of a painting in watercolor. Now, let's try something different. Let's go back over to Invoke AI and get out of the viewer there. Let's change this to oils. And I'm going to add thick brush strokes. Okay, let's see what we get. And there's always the hurry up and wait and watch while it resolves. But you can see what I'm talking about. You can use all sorts of different media here. You could say illustration, you could say oils, you could say gouache, watercolor. Okay, well, this resolved pretty quickly. And it's a much different look. Let's get to the viewer here. Okay, so we have, again, almost, boy, these almost look like palm trees than pine trees. Kind of a very primitive look. Again, we can go back and change that if we want to. But I'm going to just leave it like that because I'm trying to keep this video short. What would happen if we changed this to illustration? Okay, we used that word quite a bit in a previous video. Let's see what illustration does. And again, we hurry up and wait. It's telling us we got about 2 minutes, so while that's generating, I'm going to go back to this one. Okay, so we have gone from a photo to a watercolor and to an oil painting. And we are now about to go to an illustration. Now you notice we've got a much different feel here, just as it begins to develop. I'm seeing a lot more gray sky. I'm seeing a little bit better composition. I'm not sure. I don't see a waterfall. Well, I do see a waterfall if it's considering that a waterfall. So let's see. We're almost there. Let finish resolving. I could speed this up, but I want to give you the feel of just how long it takes. So, okay, so we are now in an illustration style, and that's actually pretty good. It's interesting, just kind of a foggy background here, and not too much else. So that's another approach, another thing. Let's see. Okay, we've done oils, we've done watercolors. I'm going to do impasto oil, and this will be our last one. Well, it's generating. I'll take you back over to Midjourney and show you what came up there. This was the same prompt, and it actually gave me 4 different things. Now, one interesting thing with any of the AI art, sometimes it will actually give you more than just a painting or an artwork. So we've got three of the forest pine scenes, but over here, if you look, we've got not only the picture, but the picture is hanging on a wall, and we've got a plant, and we've got a little side table with a kind of a drapery and some books, and I'm not sure what that is. This is one of the more interesting things that happens sometimes with AI art. It gets creative and often gives you more than you ask for. So, okay, we're down to about 7 seconds left. So let's see. Okay, and it is done. Okay, and I am getting a little impasto feel there. That's about as big as I can get it. Getting the thicker brush strokes, but I'm not particularly happy with that. And that's, again, something else with AI art. You're going to have to play with it. You'll try different things, and often you have to just change the seed, because sometimes it'll just get stuck on something, and that's when you come over here and you can hit randomize there and change the seed a little bit and see if you'll get a different look. But again, I'm trying to keep these videos reasonably short, so that's all we're going to do on exploring different media. That's one thing that you can do with AI art. Well, I was going to stop, but I just thought of one more. Let's do this, and this will be our last one. I'm going to just put in charcoal sketch. Let's see what happens. And this will be the last one for this video. Now with Midjourney, and I'll kind of show you this while we're waiting for that to generate, although Invoke is a little bit faster, so we may not have to wait real long. Well, it's coming in pretty quick, so let's stop here. I was going to show you something in Midjourney. Okay, well, we have more of a sketch feel here. Let's get into the viewer. Again, very rough, very sketchy. Let's go back here. Okay, I'm going to change one more thing on it. Okay, I added sharp focus, detailed. Let's see what we get. This will be our last one. Okay, not exactly what I would define as sharp focus, but that's what it's going to give me. So play around with it, have some fun. Again, I really have not gone into anywhere close to the kind of detail in terms of prompts to give you a feel of something it did earlier. It's capable of turning out some pretty amazing stuff, but you've got to craft your prompt, and I'm trying to keep these simple. So what we're getting is simple pictures because I'm using simple prompts. All right, that's all for this one. Next time, we're going to look at exploring other artists' styles.